You did everything right, saved your money, avoided debt. So why does it feel like you're losing? You're not alone. I feel the exact same way. We had over $100,000 of student loans when we graduated college, and we got 9-to-5 corporate jobs. We paid them off, then we saved some money, we bought a house, and I still feel like we're really far behind. And it's not because I'm not following those guidelines that older generations told me to, because I did, and I did it well. But the main point here is saving does not equal building wealth anymore. If you're in a high yield savings account, it might earn you 4%, but that doesn't even outpace inflation. The result is if you're saving money, especially if you're saving cash or a high yield savings account, you're slowly, maybe not so slowly nowadays, losing your purchasing power. I mean, everyone feels this, and it affects people that don't own assets. So people that are renting and don't have large 401ks, because those assets, yeah, they're going up in value, but really they're not going up in value. They're keeping the same value while the dollar is losing value. It literally doesn't matter who's in office. They just keep printing more money. They lower the interest rates. It just puts tension on the whole system. And I don't know how much more tension the system can handle. So, and on top of that, we get taxed. We have inflation that's eating up our purchasing power if we keep our money in cash. We have taxes that if we go out there and hustle and make another income, we get taxed like 30%. And the people that own assets, their net worth is going up, and that's not taxed unless they sell it. And if you look at the stats, I don't have the stats in front of me, but it is genuinely harder for Gen Z people to get ahead compared to boomers. I was listening to Morgan Housel the other day, and he was kind of explaining what he thought was the problem with the housing situation. And basically what he said was there just isn't enough supply, which supply and demand in economics, if there isn't enough supply and demand stays the same, then the price has to go up. And his reason for this was just basically local zoning laws make it extremely difficult to build new houses. And the fact is, when new houses do get built, they don't build starter homes. They build luxury 2,000 plus square feet homes that cost over $400,000. For a Gen Z person, making an average income is nowhere near close to a starter home. So the real problem here, there's a lot of misconceptions around inflation, what it is and why it happens. For all of us that live in this system, which is everyone in the world, it's just a normal part of life. Like the first time I kind of recognized that inflation was a thing was when I was working at Chick-fil-A. A number one meal was $6.14. And that was in 2014 when I was 14 years old. And the prices went up one day. And I was like, what the heck? Why did this just happen? Like, why are the prices going up? It's the exact same product. I didn't get paid anymore. And that was the first time I was like, kind of questioned the system and why are the prices going up? That I never realized that before. Really, the prices are going up, not because things are more expensive to manufacture or services are harder to do now than they were 50 years ago. In fact, usually it's easier to manufacture things the further into time we get and the further in the future we get. And it's easier to do services because of technology and just the nature of a free market. The problem is that the money supply is increasing extremely fast. That's because the United States government, the Federal Reserve, they print money. The dollars that we have just sitting in a bank account are chasing the same goods. There's more dollars out there, which means more dollars are required to chase those same goods because the dollar just isn't worth as much because there's more of them out there. And if you look at the data going back, 50 years, wages have grown, they go up, but not at the same pace as housing and healthcare, certainly not education. So, I mean, the old advice, it used to work. It worked for our parents, it worked for our grandparents. Save your money in the bank, buy a house, and it was really affordable for people on a single income to support a family, buy a nice house, live the American dream. Interest rates are high and also assets are super expensive. It just makes it extremely unaffordable for anyone that didn't own an asset before. The problem with the assets going up is, say someone bought a house for $200,000 10 years ago. Now it's worth $300,000. Oh, they gained $100,000 of equity. But guess what? They still have to live in a house. So when they sell their $300,000 house, they have to buy another house that also gained that much in value. So really, it didn't benefit them at all. Even though it looks like their net worth went up and they're benefiting from housing prices going up, it actually put everyone in a worse position. It kept them at the same position and made anyone who didn't have a house in a worse position because wages aren't growing as fast as inflation is growing. So really, for the boomers, it kept them at a baseline because they're still going to need a place to live. And then millennials and Gen Z who haven't bought a house yet, haven't invested a lot of money in the stock market yet, are worse off for it. Don't get me wrong, you still need to save money because obviously you have to pay bills, you have to live. I've saved money, but the goal of saving money is not to just keep it in cash. One thing I think is really revolutionary is Michael Saylor and his company Strategy have made a preferred stock called STRC. It trades like a stock, meaning it's very liquid and you can sell it right away, but the price of it stays at $100 a share. It's similar to a money market mutual fund where you can put money in and it's quote unquote safe and it'll keep its value, its equity, but it pays an 11% dividend and it pays it bi-weekly. So it's like a paycheck almost, but it's 11%. And basically what Saylor calls it is a savings account that pays you 11%, which is 3 times the market average. I'm using that because that's the only way that we can even come close to outpacing inflation. The 4% doesn't cut it. The reason I'm saving money really is not to build wealth. The purpose of me saving money right now is to build a little bit of buffer so I can have some independence and make a choice to leave my job and pursue starting a business and have a little bit more freedom of my time. And obviously I need some money to survive the next year or two of transition during this. So that's the purpose of me saving money right now in cash. If it was a long-term thing, I would put it in Bitcoin if I had a longer time horizon, because I think that is truly one of the best ways to outpace inflation and park our economic value somewhere that's not going to have its purchasing power eroded like the US dollar. That's the reason I am still saving money. And like I said, you still need to save money because we live in the real world and things cost money. We have bills, mortgage, electricity, food, etc. Really, I think the takeaway is we need to reframe our mindset. It's hard to be out of the system and look from the outside in because most of us have lived in it our whole lives and just kind of been a part of it. And it's just a part of daily life. But when we reframe our mindset and kind of look at the big picture, it's honestly a crime what they do with printing money, inflation, taxes. The American dream is not what it used to be. I think there's a ton of potential, but it doesn't work the same way as it did for our parents. So the goal isn't just to save money. The goal is to store our economic value somewhere and grow the value. We can do that by investing in businesses where our income is scalable. Our work isn't exactly tied to a hourly rate because the wages they do not grow as fast as inflation has grown. If all you do is save money, you're playing defense in a game where the rules reward offense. Saving money is kind of a way of playing defense when the reward is not given to defenders. You have to play some offense. You have to go out there and invest in riskier assets, do riskier things like start a business. That's where the true reward is in terms of finances.